Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a topic that'll really change how you see things. Ontological design. Yeah, get ready because this was going to be a wild ride.
This deep dive was actually a request from one of you listeners out there. They asked us to really dig into Daniel Friga's ontological design. Subject is project. I gotta say, that title alone had me hooked. Sounds kind of like a sci-fi thriller,
But
right?
it's not about spaceships or aliens. It's about something much closer to home. How the things we design, well, they end up designing us right back.
It is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it like that.
To help us unpack all this, we have our expert with us.
Hey, everyone.
They're going to break down the key ideas from the excerpts you sent in.
Happy to be here. So we usually think about design as a one-way street, right? We design a chair, a phone, a website. But Fraga, he's pushing us to see that it goes both ways. We're always messing with these designs, and guess what? They're subtly shaping our behaviors, what we want, even who we are.
So it's not just us creating the world, it's the world creating us too.
Exactly. Fraga says we're not just designing things, we're designing human experiences through those things. He has this great line, create or be created, design or be designed, there is no other choice. We're being designed all the time, whether we know it or not.
Yeah, that quote really stuck with me too. It's like a wake-up call. We actually have a say in how we deal with all the design around us.
Absolutely, and that's where this whole subject is project thing comes in. We're all projects constantly being molded by the designs we run into every single day.
Okay, so let's break down this subject as project idea a bit. Hit us with a real-world example. How are we being designed by, like, everyday stuff?
Let's see. Something as basic as a chair, how it's designed totally dictates how you sit, right? Changes your posture, how comfy you are, even how long you'll stay put.
Ugh, don't get me started on those meeting chairs designed for speed, not comfort.
Exactly. Or how about your smartphone? It's not just for talking anymore. It's a carefully crafted machine to keep your attention, make you scroll, crave those little dopamine hits from likes and notifications.
It's like our phones are, like, training us without us even realizing it.
You got it. And social media. They're masters at this. They tap into that human need for connection, messing with how we see ourselves and what we want in life.
Feels like we're all stuck in a giant experiment, right? Where designers are always tweaking things to see how we react.
It's a good way to look at it. And hey, it's not always bad. Sometimes these design choices come from a good place, but even then, they're still shaping us in ways we don't totally get.
So how do we wake up to these sneaky influences? Like, how do we see these design choices for what they are instead of just going with the flow?
That's where Fraga's idea of memes comes in.
Wait, you don't mean those silly internet memes, do you? Not those cat pictures with funny captions.
I see where you're going with that. But we're thinking bigger picture here. Think of memes as any piece of information, an idea, a behavior, even a style that gets copied and passed around.
So it's not about the meme itself, it's how it spreads like wildfire.
Bingo! And here's the cool part. Designs and experiences, they can be memes too. That catchy jingle stuck in your head, a dance everyone's doing, a building style everyone loves. These are all designed memes shaping what we want and what we do.
Whoa, so the clothes I wear, the music I blast, even the buildings I admire, those are all memes shaping me in some way.
You got it. They're all fighting for your attention, trying to become part of our culture. And when a design really nails it, it changes how we live, think, even interact with the world.
It's tapping into something deep in our brains, right, that need to copy and connect with others.
Right on. And that's where the apparatus comes in. Imagine a bunch of memes working together, often in subtle ways, to shape our desires, habits, you name it.
Okay, so it's not one design doing its thing. It's how they all play off each other, right? Can you give me an example of an apparatus? I'm not totally getting it.
Sure thing. Let's go back to the smartphone. It's not just one design. It's a whole world of apps, notifications, algorithms, all these feedback loops to keep us glued. Fraga, he compares it to a Skinner box.
Oh, right. Like those experiments with rats and levers and rewards.
Exactly. The rat pushes the lever, gets a treat. Over time, it learns that lever equals reward and keeps going back, even if it's full.
So our phones are like digital treat dispensers, always rewarding us for checking, scrolling, engaging, and each little action just makes us more hooked.
You nailed it. It's designed to keep us coming back for more.
Okay, that's a little creepy when you put it like that. But you said it's not always a bad thing. Are there any apparatuses designed for good?
Definitely. Think about those fitness trackers or apps that nudge you towards healthier habits. They use those same tricks, rewards, feedback, connecting with others, but in a way that's good for you. The key is These apparatuses are powerful, and we got to be aware of how they work, good or bad.
Awareness is key, right? The more we get these memes and apparatuses, the better choices we can make, choices that work for us instead of just reacting to whatever's thrown at us.
You got it. And that brings us to this other big idea, habit fields.
Habit field. All right, lay it on me. So we've covered memes, apparatuses, but how do these habit fields fit in?
Okay, so imagine habit fields as these invisible paths shaped by, like, doing the same thing over and over, like, say, walking through the woods on the same route. Eventually, you have a clear trail, right?
Right.
That becomes the easy path, the one you take without even thinking.
So the more we use a design, the stronger its habit field gets in our minds.
Yeah.
We just keep going back to it.
Yeah, exactly. And this doesn't just apply to, like, physical stuff, you know?
Right.
It shapes how we think, what we crave, our whole outlook. Remember how we talked about those smartphones being like digital Skinner boxes?
Totally. Always rewarding us for checking, scrolling, the whole 9 yards.
Well, doing that creates super strong habit fields, makes us want those dopamine hits even more. Fraga, he calls this limbic capitalism. Like, companies are using design to kind of hijack our brains, make us crave their stuff.
It's not just about the products themselves, it's how they're designed to get us hooked.
Exactly. And these habit fields, man, they're hard to break, even when we know they're not good for us. Think about how tough it is to just put down your phone when you should be doing something else.
Ugh, don't even get me started. It's a constant struggle.
It's real for all of us.
Mm.
But here's where it gets even wilder. These habit fields, they're not just in the real world. They spill into our digital lives too. Creates what philosopher Peter Sloterdijk calls our egosphere. Basically, it's your own little online world shaped by algorithms and, well, the choices you make.
So my Instagram feed, my Twitter, even my Spotify playlist, that's all part of my egosphere.
Exactly. And just like where we live and work, our egosphere can really mess with how we think and feel. Big question is, are we designing it or is it designing us?
Whoa,
Ah.
that's deep. And that takes us to another idea from Fraga that sounds pretty intense, pneumakia.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, right? Pneumakia basically means war of the mind. It's this constant battle for our attention, our beliefs, our whole reality. And with all the info, tech, and different ideas out there, it's crazier than ever.
A war for our minds. Okay, give me an example of how this pneumakia thing plays out in the real world.
We kind of touched on it already, how companies use design and these algorithms to keep us glued to our devices, craving their products. But it goes way deeper than that. Think about fake news online, political campaigns using data to target voters, even just the constant barrage of ads fighting for our attention. It's all pneumakia, different forces battling to control what we think.
Wow, that is a lot to process.
Yeah.
Feels like we're being pulled in every direction. How do we take back control in the middle of this mental war? Like, how do we design our own reality instead of just being a pawn in the game?
That's the million-dollar question. And Fraga tackles this with the idea of channeling zero. He thinks real creativity, real agency, comes from, like, embracing the unknown and using it to fuel our own innovations.
Channeling zero sounds pretty mystical, but also really exciting. How do we actually do that?
Well, Fraga, he takes inspiration from architect Rem Koolhaas. Koolhaas believed amazing design comes from finding those unexpected stories, turning ordinary stuff into something extraordinary. He wasn't just designing buildings, but whole experiences within them.
So it's about looking deeper, finding the hidden stories in everyday life, and using them to shape our own reality.
You got it. It's about questioning everything, those reality tunnels we build for ourselves, and seeing the unknown as this well of creative potential.
Channeling zero is about getting uncomfortable, pushing past the familiar, being open to what we don't know. It's about designing our own lives instead of letting life design us.
You nailed it. And that's the heart of ontological design. We have a choice. Be designed by everything around us or become the designers ourselves. Create a world that reflects what we believe in, what we want.
Powerful stuff. It's a good reminder that we're not just along for the ride. We have the power to shape our own experiences.
We absolutely do. The choice is ours. Design or be designed.
And that's a wrap for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this wild exploration of ontological design. Huge shout out to the listener who suggested this awesome topic. Catch you all next time when we take another deep dive into the ideas that shape our world.